Hello and welcome to Reginaldesq. I'm Underhook and this is my review of the Swedish Tier 7 medium tank, the Leo. So is it any good? I don't like it. It might be a good tank, I don't know. I didn't get mastery in it, so I'd have to say from my point of view I probably wasn't great at driving it, but I really didn't like it. The grind at the start, the early grind is horrible. It gets a bit better later on. This really reminds me of the American T20, the American Tier 7 medium tank. If you liked the T20, you may like this tank. It has a low DPM if you use the top gun, the high alpha damage gun, and virtually no armor, and a very slow turret traverse. Other than that, it moves around pretty well, has 10 degrees of gun depression, which is very good, and it handles in a similar fashion to most of the other medium tanks. My crew is 100% trained and the commander has concealment and is working on Sixth Sense, which doesn't account at the moment. This guy has snapshot and is working on repairs. This guy has smooth ride and is working on clutch braking, and this guy has concealment and is working on repairs. I have vents fitted, optics, and a gun ram to try and speed up the loading time of the big gun. I did try using the smaller gun. Actually, let's have a quick talk about the gun selection. Going to research. So the big gun here is a 100mm gun or 10cm gun, and there's a smaller 75mm gun as well. So with this top gun, it's 105. It has a very slow rate of fire of 5.33. It's very slow for a medium tank. 155mm of penetration does 300 damage. That's huge damage for a medium tank, and it's really good when it hits. 0.42 accuracy is terrible, and aiming time of 3 seconds is pretty bad as well. So it ends up with a very low DPM with this gun because the reload time is so long. It also means that with this gun you can't brawl other medium tanks. You have no armor in this tank, so anything that anyone shoots at you, even medium tanks, will penetrate. Whereas with this gun there's a chance of missing, and you have a very low rate of fire. So they will probably be firing at least 2 shots for every one of yours, and they can track you and stuff like that, whereas you probably don't want to risk a tracking shot because you've got a long time before your next shot and you don't want to not do the damage, and so it's not a good sort of circling or brawling tank. You can use this gun, which is a 75mm, which has a 13.3 rate of fire, so it's more than double the rate of fire of this gun and does exactly half the damage at 150. So it ends up with a higher DPM with this gun, and it has 148mm of pen, which is a little bit less. It's about 7mm less, but that's the same as the Comet, for example. So if you know the Comet, say that's the same penetration as the Comet. 0.33 is slightly more accurate than the Comet, and 1.8 second aiming time is fantastic. I think even the Comet has about 2.3 second aiming time. The Comet's gun has a bit better of a rate of fire than this though, but other than that, this is a better gun than the gun on a Comet. So there is that option. This is though not a small tank. It does present a pretty large target if you are comparing it to something like the Comet. Now, I think what we'll do now is have a quick look at the tank comparisons, and then we'll get into some gameplay. So here we are on Tanks GG, and I've got the Leo on the left and we've got the American T20. I've put them together because I think they're very similar tanks. Then we've got the Comet, T43, which is the Russian, and the T34-1, which is the Chinese version. So haven't got all the medium tanks, we've got a few here to compare with. As you can see, the DPM is very low on this tank, 1600 compared with the T20, which is also very low, around 1530. And then you've got the Comet with over 2000, the T43 with around 2000, and the T34-1 is also around 1600. Now, if you do decide to put on the 75mm gun, this actually shoots up to around about 2000. Now, penetration is 155, which is kind of medium, I guess. You can see you got 160 in the T20, goes right up to 175 on the Chinese tank, but the others are lower, 144 for the T43 and 148 for the Comet. So with that 75mm gun, you get exactly the same pen as a Comet, 148, but instead of the 140 damage that the Comet does, you actually do 150 damage. So there you go. The 75mm is a viable gun to use on this tank. I did try it, but I ended up preferring the higher DPM. Although I did have to change my gameplay style, because with the 75mm gun you can hit targets. With this big gun with 0.42 dispersion, you often miss shots, and you really have to changed the way you play. You can't play at range. You have to be close range, but you've got no armor, so it's kind of a funny thing. It's more like supporting heavy tanks and just popping out and taking shots of opportunity is the way I think I ended up playing this towards the end. And as you can see, the damage varies. We've got 240 for the T20 and similarly 250 for the T34, but these other guys are 180 and 140, so you've got your lower damage and higher damage tanks. Let's rate of fire at 5.33. We are very, very slow and the slowest of this bunch. 6.38 on the T20, which I think when I played that I thought that was a bad rate of fire. And the others, as you can see, are a bit quicker, except the T34-1's only 6.45. What else can we tell you about it? Shell velocity is quite slow, 785, very similar to that on the Comet. Well, exactly the same. In fact, it's not as fast as the other guy, so it is harder to hit. Moving targets and targets at range are also hard to hit. The aim time of 3 seconds is horrible. The T34-1 has 2.9, which isn't good either, but the other guys are all 2.3. Now, that is an advantage of if you decide to use a 75mm gun. It has an aim time of 1.8 seconds, which is blisteringly fast when you look at this, what we've got here. 0.42 on the gun is awful, and it's the same as the Chinese tank. The others are all quite a bit better. We've got elevation of 15 degrees, which isn't very good, so if you're pointing down a hill and you try and shoot someone up on another hill, you often can't get there. Gun depression is great though at 10 degrees. The T20 also had 10 degrees, the Comet has a famously good 12 degrees. T43 8, and the Chinese tank has a woeful 5 degrees. The forward speed of 60 kilometers an hour, you won't hit 60 unless you're going down a hill, but it's okay. Power to weight ratio is alright, not too bad. It moves alright, it just has a slow turret traverse which sort of cripples it a little bit for circling other tanks. In fact, we should be able to see that here. Turret traverse of 34, and as you can see, the next lowest is 42 on the T20. So the turret traverse is really bad, but the track traverse is okay. It's similar to the others. So then we get onto the armor. We'll have a look in GG with the armor in a second, but basically got 70 on the front of the hull and 70 on the front of the turret, and then pretty much nothing anywhere else. I don't remember bouncing really anything in this. I may have bounced some shots, I can't remember, but really you don't bounce anything. The T20 has about 89mm in the front of the turret, but I really don't remember bouncing much for the T20 either. The Comet, you often do bounce shots off the turret. It's just over 100mm, so yeah. This guy's got 90, this guy's got 170, so it is a very poorly armoured tank, the Leo. As far as that goes, hit points 1100, smack on the same as the T20, and the others are very similar. Really, there's not much difference with the hit points amongst these ones I've selected. View range is terrible at 370, which is the same as the Russian tank. You always know your view range is terrible if it's the same as a Russian tank. Russian tanks always have terrible view range, and in this case the Chinese tank also only has 370. The others are 390 and 380 respectively, and that's about all I think I need to tell you about this tank. It's I don't know, in the hands of the right player maybe it's good, but I'm not that player. Let's have a look at the armor layout. So checking out the armor layout on Tanks GG, you can see that even though it says it's 70mm at front, this red part is the only part that's 70mm, and really it's a little bit sloped, but you can still penetrate it. About 80-85mm will pen it, which is pretty much everybody. The upper section here is only 30mm, and with the angle only comes up as around 40mm, so every light tank in the game can penetrate it. The actual red part here on the turret is also 70mm, but if you're aiming around the centre area here, it still comes up as 70. It is rounded at the upper parts, it goes just over 100, lower parts just over 80. The mantlet in some places does overlap, it's 55 overlapping to 70, but as you move towards the gun, it's just the 55, there's no overlap. So you might bounce a shot off the mantlet if you're lucky. These side cheek areas of the turret here, they're sloping back, even though they're very heavily angled, it still is only 30mm, so it's coming up around 50mm at best. Very easy to penetrate this tank. The side is terrible, the rear side is only 25mm, side of the turret's 30, the back is 13mm, top deck 13mm as well. This thing, obviously, if you get hit by artillery, you can actually be one shot if you've got artillery that's 2 tiers higher. KV2s and things like that can devastate this tank as well, so don't get hit by artillery or any HE if you can possibly help it. What I will do is these Swedish tanks, as you know, when I've reviewed in the past, I've said they get tracked very easily. This does have a lot of track and also gets tracked very easily, and because you have no armor, if you get tracked, it's not good, as I'll show you right now. Early in the game on Westfield, thought I could probably make it across this gap, doing about 48, but I get spotted, I get hit and tracked. As you can see, almost every time you get hit anywhere from the side, you get tracked, unfortunately, and once you're tracked, it's game over. The map is Steps, or Steeps, however you want to pronounce it, and we are top tier, woohoo! In a medium with pretty good gun depression, so I decide to go to our left flank, using the undulating hills to my advantage. Well, that's the theory anyway. I'll move into the tank now. So, yeah, the biggest deal on this, I guess, is the accuracy. Sometimes we're just popping over and shooting. Now, you can see my ping is a bit over 100 there, 110, 120, around there. I'm playing currently on the Singapore server. We have just got an Australian server, which is really good. It only runs at night time though, so between certain hours. So if I play on the weekend or during the day, I end up on the Singapore server, and other times I can end up on the Australian server. The Australian server is much easier to play on because, especially in tanks like this, because you can pop over a hill and shoot and actually hit. Or you can pop over a hill and shoot without shooting the hill, or pop out from behind a rock and not actually shoot the rock you're behind. You can actually shoot at the tank. With the longer ping like in this, it's much harder to do. So also what's throwing me off a little bit is now what happens is I don't sometimes give us enough lead when I'm on the Singapore server, because I'm enjoying the Australian server. I don't have to give very much lead to my shots. So there's a few little things like that that are I'm having fun with. So in this game later on, you'll probably see me do a couple of shots where I miss badly because I don't give enough lead to a couple of shots, but I'm blaming that as the reason. We were very lucky to hit that shot. We weren't fully aimed, and this gun generally isn't a very accurate gun, but it was great to get that Chaffee. Always enjoy getting a Chaffee. So as you can see, the gun depression is pretty good. I'm not having to stick my tank over too much, and luckily he misses us. And you can see 325 damage. When you're hitting tanks that are lower tier than you, it is devastating to them. It does do big damage, this gun, and it's not something you normally expect from medium tank. I'm going for this OI experimental because I could see he was on low health, and I thought it would be worth taking a hit to eliminate him, but as it was, I didn't take a hit, which I was surprised. So that was good. The only trouble, of course, is that you don't want to do that and get tracked. As you saw, getting tracked in this tank isn't good. So we hit that Tiger there, but he hits us with gold ammo, so he's obviously spamming gold. But only does 168 damage to us, so I don't know if he's got the starting gun. I think, maybe that's just what that gun does. So I'm not sure if I bounced that shot off his turret or whether I just missed completely. Can't expect to hit many of those sort of shots with a gun with 0.42 dispersion. I'm just going to take my time and make sure of this guy. Don't want to miss that shot. And I've got a couple of guys here who foolishly come up and expose themselves onto the hill. Probably just going to try and get a few shots in before they die. And he hits me and does 348 damage, which, no, he does 258, which hurt, but I managed to penetrate him as well. Probably a bit lucky with that penetration there. So it looks like we've kind of won this flank pretty much. See if I can get another shot on this guy. He gets one into me, and I get a nice one into him for 282. Gee, I really like the look of the Leo, especially with the camouflage on it. I think it looks like it's a great looking tank. Just a pity it's not a better tank. Well, like I say, it could just be me driving it. I didn't get master in it, so obviously there are people doing a better job than me in it. I'm trying to get up on this guy now, get a good shot on him. Let's see if we can get up here quickly enough. You see, in a straight line, the tank moves fairly quickly. We can get here in time. he does a good job there getting that shot into me while he was moving away. And but like I say, with the lower tiers or equal tier tanks, the alpha damage in this gun is just great. So he only did 170 to us for that shot, but we did about 300 per shot. So it does help a lot. And in instances like this where you can control your rate of fire, so in other words, you can say, okay, well, I'm only going to expose myself when I'm going to fire. It's not bad. If you get caught in the open, that's when the DPM is a real problem. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. I came up here looking for artillery, but there was no one there. I thought there might be someone there. Then I spot someone over there on the way through, but now I'm at a position. I've still got this at 2 times speed. I'm still looking for any tanks that are hiding up here, TDs or arty, and then I miss this guy, that Panzer there, that I could have been shooting at. Then we've got a shot here on T67, back to normal speed now, aiming. You see the long aim time can be a problem. And we miss that shot, goes over the top of the tank. So now this is more like your typical accuracy that you can expect from this gun. And we completely missed that shot as well. So that happens a lot with this bigger gun, which is why I did actually play some games with the smaller 75mm gun. So I've got a T20 here, which I reckon is a very similar tank to this one. Get a good one straight through his turret, and he gets one into us, 202, and someone else gets the finishing shot, and then I get hit by our own M44. So I got team killed there, but it was understandable. He was just trying to get his last shot in, and I did drive over where the dead tank was, so that's fair enough. Battle results. So it was a class 1 game, and we managed to get a high caliber, which is nice. I haven't been getting many of those lately, haven't been playing that well. But we spotted a lot of tanks, got a bit of assistance damage, and damaged a lot of tanks as well. So let's have a look at the next screen. We finished on top for XP for our team. Damage wise, we did 2,598, I think that is, which is definitely the top for our team, and now top on both teams. So we did quite good damage. Let's have a look at the next screen, and we fired 15 shots, 11 of them hit. That's pretty good for this tank. Like I say, the gun's not super accurate. 2,598 damage. Only 329 was from long range. The rest of it was all medium to close range. We received 5 hits. They all penetrated. So once again, the armor is useless. Enemy vehicles spotted 6. We damaged 8, destroying 4, and did a little bit 470 of assistance damage as well. We got a little bit of compensation there for the arty accidentally killing us at the end, and we made reasonably good profit actually for a G7 tank. And there you go. So our raw XP was 1057. That gave us a class 1. So I'm not sure what mastery is in this tank. It might be about 1200 or something like that. So the map is Airfield. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Airfield. It's a tier 8 game this time. There's few tier 8s on the enemy team, and why have I got their names up? I don't like having names up. I like the tanks up. I don't know why it keeps changing on me, but anyway. So yeah, they've got a Lowy, Lorraine, and RHM Rheinmetall on their team. Pretty good tanks. I do find against tier 9s this tank really struggles in tier 9 games. The more sort of heavily armoured medium tanks around the game, the harder this tank finds it, because you tend to run into other mediums and you just can't survive against them in most cases. Lower tiers it's fine, but higher tiers and sometimes even your own tiers it's pretty difficult. So still on the Singapore server, you can see by my ping. Although the ping is a lot better since they fixed the cable. It's hovering more like about 100 now. It used to always be about 120. Take a shot there at that Tiger. Didn't have a chance of hitting it really, but you know, I think it was just a reflex. I see there's a Lowy there and a T29 that's hull down. I've got no chance of penetrating either of them, so I'll just keep them spotted. I was actually going to try and track him, and I think I did actually destroy his track there, so that's good. Because I saw Arty was aiming in, so we'll just keep him tracked. So I've got to be very cautious when I nudge out here that I've disappeared off the spotting radar, because I don't want anyone just pre-firing on me, because I've got no armor and it will go in. Looks like we've got something up here we might be able to hit. Cromwell. Oh, was there a tank up here as well? No. Let's see if we can get that Cromwell. Ah, it's disappeared now. Pretty good spot this, if you can get up here. It's a good spot for mediums because you need to be fairly quick to get up here before the heavies arrive. Well, you get shot on the way up. If you can get up here pretty quick, it's a good spot for a lighter and medium. You can do a good amount of spotting from up here and get some good shots of opportunity as well. Here we go. Come on, come on. Yes. And good hit there. Oh, now I only did 149 damage. Oh, maybe I've got the 75mm fitted here. Okay. We'll see in a minute. Damn that rock. Oh, here we go, here we go. Yep, we penned. 136 damage. So yes, folks, we are using the 75mm. So by accident, I've shown you one game with 100mm, and now we're having a game with the 75mm. So yes, of course, I planned it, guys. I planned it because for you, my subscribers, nothing's too difficult. We're going to show you both guns. Yep. So you get to, well, that was fortuitous. So now you get to see how the 75mm performs, and you've seen the 100mm already, and you can decide for yourself which one you think is better, or try them both out. So in case you can't remember, this one has a lower penetration, but a much better rate of fire. So we go for the tracking shot there, the front wheel. I'm just going to try and keep him tracked here. Just keep putting holes in it. Didn't pen him with that shot. We penned him with that one, no. And he's been killed. So that was well worth it. That, I think, just keeping him tracked. Let's see if we can get this T-29 now. I think we should just about have disappeared off the radar by now, but someone else nails the T-29. Rather selfish of them. I think they should have left it for us, personally. I can see that Cromwell up there again. Let's see if we can get him again. Darn that rock. Oh, I just noticed up there, there's the Rheinmetall still up there. Oh, here he goes, here we go. Ah, he moved forward. Let's see, this is supposed to be accurate, this gun. Okay. That's good. 0.33 accuracy on this gun. Oh, dispersion, so that's... should be much better. Uh-oh, Lorraine. Oh no. Lorraine is a bad tank when you've got this tank, because with that auto loader he can really pump the shots in. For some reason it's going for it. I don't know what happened, why I missed there. I'm blaming the Singapore server for that one. But the quick reload means we can get another shot again pretty quickly. I decided to move up here, but then I realised, oh, we've still got that Rheinmetall right up the other side there. I don't want to drive out in front of that. So I decided not to chase the Lorraine and pull back. And someone actually just nailed the Lorraine anyway, so that's good. I'm a little bit worried about going across here with that Rheinmetall can see me or not, whether I'm in trouble. And I just got damage on spotting for the Rheinmetall, so I must have spotted it actually while I was driving up there, so I was lucky I didn't get hit by it. Oh, we're getting more spotting damage for it. That's good. C-3485 enemy tank. That's the Russian medium, I think. I don't think it's the Chinese one, I think it's the Russian one. Oh, here it comes, he's coming out. Big mistake. Let's check out this rate of fire. Bounced. Oh, ricocheted. Damn. But the rate of fire was pretty good. Just a bit of bad luck there that ricocheted. I don't know how possibly ricocheted from looking at where it hit, but apparently it did. The thing is, when you're playing with over 100 ping, sometimes shots don't hit where you think they hit, or where it shows they hit somewhere else. Okay, I might speed this up to 2 times for a second, just while we're waiting here. Oh, back to normal speed. Someone's come out. It's KB85. Go for the wheel. Oh, somebody shot it before we could get it. Darn it. I was going for a tracking shot. I should have just shot it. Enemy artillery, and we have shots. I'm hanging halfway over the edge here, but we get another shot in, and he's down. So rate of fire, as you can see there, was very, very good. And considering the 2 shots together make up the same amount of damage as the 100mm gun, but that overall it's a higher DPM, faster rate of fire, this gun's actually not too bad. Still worried about that Ramatal, because he's still alive. So I probably don't want to be going out there. Just thought I'd see if I could spot him, but I haven't spotted him, so we'll just leave him alone. This SU-100Y, they recognise his name. I was in another game with him, and I was in a bush, and he pushed me out of the bush. I was in my little tank, and but he kind of was okay because he had the big gun and I had a tiny little gun, so I just thought, okay, fair enough, I'll move. He was okay. He didn't shoot me or anything. He just pushed me out. All right, that was nice. Caught him there. Once again, you can see there the reload really worked. So I guess it's the thing is with this gun, you've got more chance of hitting because of the accuracy and the faster aiming time. You're just doing less damage per shot, but it reloads quicker. So in a lot of cases, this will be a better gun. I suppose it depends a little bit on your play style. You do have to expose yourself more often, I guess, if you're using the faster reloading gun. I'm going to speed this up to 2 times. So an AT-8 has been spotted. So I decided he's coming up the hill, so if I go around the other side, I'll get him from behind. Slow this down to normal speed now. And yes, we do. One in the back. Try and track him now. And successful right through the wheel. Beautiful track, but he used the repair kit, the mongrel. And that shot does track damage, but doesn't track him. And didn't do any actual damage to the tank. So I have no intention of getting in front of the gun of an AT-8, so I'm running. And I'm just going to probably turn back, because I don't want... there we go, I'll turn back now. He's gone off my radar. That means I've gone off his radar as well, so I'll turn back. Hopefully he'll be expecting me to come from that side, and I'll come up behind him again, because he'll turn to face the other way. That's my plan anyway. As you can see, this tank, when it's turning and stuff, it isn't really quick. It's not slow, but it's definitely not like a light tank. Where is he? Where'd he go? Ah, he's over there now. Oh, we spotted him. Can we get him before he turns? And no, we didn't pen him. So this gun does have a little bit less pen than the 100mm, so that is another consideration. Let's see if we can get him this time. Finish him off. He hasn't got much health left. Had an orange indicator, bounced. There's some green indicators there, green, but we bounced. Let's try and track him. Ah, he moved. Alright, we're just going to go for the cupola. I was trying to get rid of him quickly. That's why I didn't aim at the cupola, but when all those shots started bouncing, I thought, no, let's make sure of it and hit the cupola. Another Class 1 game, so that's actually really good that we've turned out that way. So we've had a Class 1 game with the 100mm and a Class 1 game with 75mm, so it'll give you a good indication how the guns perform. We did a fair bit of spotting and assistance damage from the look of that, and I had to split the screen into 2 screenshots, so I've got some of it there, and the next screenshot will show you the lower half of this, which is that there. So we had a fairly good effect on the game. So we finished on top 4 XP on our team with 1149, and that's still a Class 1. So, gee, I guess mastery is about 1200, around there, I guess. We didn't do the most damage on our team. The IS3 here did the most damage with 2,061. But 1814 is not too bad, so I'm not sure, maybe... I'm pretty sure the 75mm, I didn't have as many big games, like over 2,000 damage, as I did with the 100mm, so maybe it's not, you don't get as much damage done, I don't know. But anyway, it is what it is. The other team, that T-3485 did pretty good. This guy here, the Lorraine, did over 3,500 damage, but pretty much committed suicide at the end there, so maybe he was just getting surrounded, I don't know. Let's have a look at the next screen. And we fired 31 rounds, 26 of them hit, but only 15 penetrated. We did have trouble with that AT-8 at the end there. Total damage 1814. Most of it was actually long range stuff, 900 feet, not most of it, half of it was. Spotted 4, damaged 8, destroying 4, which I think is almost identical to the last game that we had. But assistance damage, look at this, 1600 was really high in this particular game. And we got a bit of base capture points as well. Once again, profit very similar to the last game, and that's it. Catch you later. Thank you for watching my review of the Leo. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more reviews, please subscribe to Reginaldesq. Have fun.